together.
Okay.
So throughout the year, it's really good to do the books of the Bible, and today we will be doing the Old Testament, and then there's the New Testament. The New Testament, we don't really have action motions. There are some, but it's complicated, and most of us just sing the song. But the Old Testament, Diana has been showing us motions, and so what we're going to do is we're going to sing the whole song first, and then the books of the Bible are, of course, are divided. The books of Moses, the books of history, then there's poetry, major prophets and minor prophets. So we're going to divide up those sections as she teaches us the motions and a little bit more of how we teach Bible books to the kids. So we'll sing the whole thing, and then each week, like today, we'll be doing the books of Moses.
We'll do books of Moses, yes.
And then each week we'll be singing this again with the motions.
Okay, I hope I can get all the way through. But those of you that remember from last year, please join me with the hand motions.
The books of the Old Testament, sing them with me. The books of the Old Testament, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. The books of the Old Testament, sing them with me. The books of the Old Testament.
Okay, I guess you can have your favorite instrument. You could do guitar, you can do piano, whatever you want. But okay, Genesis. God created everything in Genesis, right? Exodus. God parted the Red Sea. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. He took his law and he put it on their heads, right? Leviticus. Numbers. And how would you describe Numbers? It's just Numbers is the
How they
numbered the tribes and everything. Okay. And then Deuteronomy is the second law. Okay. So that's the explanation for the books of Moses. Let's do it one more time. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Okay. All right. And we'll go on with longer next week. Okay.
And up here we have the Hallelujah praise song. So there's a few New Testaments. We'll have Old Testament songs available next week.
You know, I was just going to tell you that when now I didn't know the motions, so I'm going to have to learn the hand motions. But I did just teach these first ones this week also. But when I did Genesis, what does the word Genesis mean? Beginning. So it's the beginning of things. Do you know how many years the book of Genesis covers? 2,500 years. That's what is the beginning record in the Bible of the first 2,500 years that God created this world is in the book of Genesis. And so at the end of Genesis, where did the people end up? We had it last year. They ended up, well, they were always in trouble. They ended up in Egypt, that's right. And so, now the book of Exodus, you see this word over many doors. What does the word exit? And what does exit mean? That's where you can leave. And so they left where? Egypt. They first 2,500 years, and then it was ended up with Joseph going down to Egypt. Now they've been in Egypt and now they leave Egypt. And so, if you guys who know the tribes, what little tribe is this? Levi. And what did the Levites do? Priests, that's right. And so the book of Levi, you know what I meant to look up on the internet, and that was after they left Egypt, how long was it before they got to Mount Sinai? And I was thinking it was like 3 to 4 months. And then they stayed there for an entire year because at there. And so this right here, remember that Moses went up to the mountain and what did God give him? Yeah, the 10 Commandments and all the rules of the how do you offer the sacrifice? Now if you've done this wrong, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. Now if you just want to say thank you to God, okay, this is a sacrifice that you offer. All even about the lepers today. What happens if you have leprosy? That's all written, things that the priests need to know, all written in the book of Leviticus. And then Numbers is the numbering of the people too, but the wandering around in the wilderness. So this has some wandering around in the wilderness. How long were they there? And this has some wandering around in the wilderness. And then so this right here is Deuteronomy. How many people in a duo or a duet? 2. And so this means 2, and this is Deuteronomy means the law. So God gives the law and his instructions to Moses one more time. They're going to go into the land. Okay, now come on guys, you're going to go in there. It's going to be, you got a lot you need to know. Let's just review all that again. And so he reviews it all again. And then Deuteronomy was written, all these books were written by who? Moses. Right. But whose words were they really? If I said, Kathleen, now would you write this down, please? Could you get a piece of paper? And I just want you to write what I want to send to Rosa. Now, if she wrote it down, whose words would it be? My words. And that's exactly what God did. God said, these are my words. You write them down, but it's my words. And so these are the first 5 books of the Bible now. And by the way, guess what stories we are going to have this year? The stories of leaving Egypt. Oh, it's so exciting. And they're wandering around in the wilderness. Oh, that's coming right up. So anyway, and then, so I'm just saying you can also, as you're doing the motions, teach them that way too. I want to say this, that even with my little thing about the water and all of that, I have 4, I didn't realize this, I have 4 4-year-olds in my class.
Wow.
I really only have 2, one of them just turned 5. But you know what? They sit there, they listen, and that's what I always tell the parents. If they can sit there and listen, then they can come. If they can't, then they can't. But those little kids sit there and listen, and they don't make a sound. Except one thing I have learned about all of my preschoolers. Right after the memory verse, they all have to go to the bathroom. So I say, go early. Well, I didn't have to go then. Well, and so you know what? I don't want any accidents. So I say, okay, if you're a preschooler, kindergarten, you may go to the bathroom, but the rest of you, I know you don't need to. So I haven't figured out how to not have all of my little preschoolers have to go to the bathroom. So if anybody knows how, never mind.
Do they go on their own?
The bathrooms you can see from our door, and so we let them go on their own. One of the little girls wanted to go with her little sister, and I said, well, do you go with your little sister during school time? She said, no. Of course, they were different classes. That was good enough for her. So no, you do not let, and if you have 2 friends that have to go, like we did last week, before I said, okay, guys, and then there was a lot of the older kids that said they had to go, and so what I said was, all right, you know what, now I want to tell you this is what I've done in other classes. If you have to go to the bathroom, you can go. That's absolutely fine with me. But what we do is we take your name tag, and then you don't get a treat at the end. But you're welcome to go to the bathroom. You just can't get a treat then, if you can't remember to go beforehand. And of course, if some little kid has a flu or something like that, we always can see that and make exceptions. All right, so is there any other questions? All right, guys, that's it.
Thank you.
Marianne?
Yes.
Do you need this? Or